What's up, fellow adult collectors? Welcome to SeViLion Collectibles. In this video, I'll be discussing the NECA Real Toys Casey Jones and Raphael 2-pack based on the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. In the United States, this set was meant to be a Walmart exclusive, but it's been very scarce so far. When this set first went live online, NECA did experience a lot of problems with scalper bots buying up most of the inventory, plus I haven't seen it in my local stores at all. Unfortunately, that means to make this video happen as soon as I had to feed the scalpers. If this is your first time landing on my channel, hi, my name is SeViL, and here I like to discuss action figures and other collectibles based on my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. If you find this video enjoyable or informative, please give me a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now, since Casey Jones is the new piece for this set, I'm going to start by giving him a good slow look at both the front and back, up and down. Much like I've said about every single one of the figures in this line so far, Casey Jones looks like he walked straight out of that movie. As far as the sculpting and paintwork is concerned, NECA has once again knocked it out of the park. Just for example, the textures that represent each type of clothing on the character all feel entirely different, whether it's the sweatpants, the white t-shirt, or the denim vest. That incredibly high attention to detail is most definitely the standout feature of this figure. Then, of course, the standout feature of the character himself is the hockey mask. It looks phenomenal, and it's not just that they sculpted the face like that, it really is a floating piece over the face underneath. My understanding of how production went on this figure is that they were building it with the actor's face sculpt underneath the mask, hoping they could get the likeness rights, but when that didn't happen, they just built it with the mask attached to the head, and it's not really meant to come off. Moving down to the torso, though, like I said earlier, the shirt and the vest look great. There's even like a brown-black wash over the shirt itself that makes it look dirty. Both the shirt and the vest are made of a soft rubber malleable material that fit on over the body. And while that does help with some of the articulation like the tornado waist, the shirt itself is still a little bit stiff around the ab crunch area. Moving on down to the legs, they're not quite as detailed as the upper body, but they do still have that texture I mentioned earlier. Beyond that, there's not really much going for them, but when you're sculpting sweatpants, what more can you really do? All of those same attributes with the level of detail do still carry around to the back side of the figure, whether that's good or bad. Next up, a primary factor in adding a lot of value to this set is the accessories. Casey Jones certainly comes with plenty of them. There are 6 different hands that can be swapped out, 2 of the baseball bats, 1 cricket bat, 2 different sized hockey sticks, and the golf club that he uses towards the end of the film. Plus, there's also the shoulder bag for him to carry them. All of these pieces are sculpted and painted really nicely. The only one that I don't really like is the golf club itself, because it's kind of flimsy. It bends really easy compared to the others. With that said though, once everything's all in place and in use, it does look pretty fantastic. Now real quick though, I'm going to take the shoulder bag back off while I go through Casey's articulation. The head can't really look up much, but it can tilt down pretty far. Of course, it also has side-to-side rotation. The shoulders can spin all the way around, as well as move outward. The elbows are double jointed, and each point does rotate independently. The wrist also has full rotation, as well as a hinge for back and forth movement. As I mentioned earlier, the torso does have an ab crunch underneath the shirt, but it still doesn't really offer that much movement. However, there is still a tornado waist for full rotation. The hips can spread out pretty far and still do okay kicking forward, but everything below that starts to get disappointing. The thigh joint does offer a little bit of rotation. The knee is only single jointed, but it has some rotation of its own, and the ankle only has rotation at the top of the shoe. This limited articulation in the legs does cause some balance issues. Now, I'm going to show you Raphael, starting with that same good and close look up and down of both the front and back. Of course, the standout item with this Raph is the cloth goods trench coat. Personally, while I will certainly admit that it looks great from a distance, zoomed in like this really showcases the problem I really have with cloth goods items. Personally, I've never really liked how big the sewing threads have to be in comparison to the scale of the figure. As far as the quality goes, I'm sure it's fine. I've just personally always preferred the sculpted look instead of the cloth goods look because of the nature of the threading. However, I will admit that at least from a financial standpoint, it did make more sense to go with the cloth goods trench coat for this set. Aside from my complaint about the threads, it does still look pretty good, and is most definitely screen accurate. The straps, buckle, and pockets are all fully functional, just like a real jacket. It's fairly thick and puffy, so it does do a good job of hiding most of the turtle underneath. There's also this backpack. It's not soft goods, it's plastic with the soft rubber straps to go over your shoulders. And again, it is incredibly screen accurate. After you get the backpack off, to remove the jacket, first all you gotta do is take the strap out of the buckle here. Then, once you get it opened up, it comes right off over the arms. Underneath the trench coat is the exact same Raphael figure that we've gotten a couple of times now. First, from the San Diego Comic-Con 4-pack, and then again from GameStop in the single release. The Raph here on the left with the size in the belt is my figure from GameStop, so you can really see it is the identical figure. The 2-pack Raph does have all the same accessories from the GameStop version, plus a few more. The size, the pizza slice, and one of the bandanas just carried straight over, as did the side gripping hands. The open flattened hands aren't entirely new, but they are new to Raph, and they fit really well inside the trenchcoat pockets. Lastly, I do want to show some size comparisons with Casey Jones and other figures from this line. Obviously, he's a little taller than Raph, and much taller than Splinter, but pretty close to the height of Shredder and the Foot Soldiers, so he is in scale. Now, with all that said, it's time to run this Casey Jones and Raph 2-pack through my guidelines for a complete and fair review. Casey Jones himself is a brand new sculpt, and since that is the main focus of the pack, I'll let that get the point. Of course, both figures are highly detailed and incredibly accurate to the characters. Unfortunately, Casey Jones does not meet my 20-point threshold for articulation, and I do think that causes a lot of balance issues. Both figures are in scale, and certainly come with plenty of accessories. I didn't have any quality control problems with my figures, and the roughly $50 price point would be fair if you could find it at Walmart for that price. The current lack of accessibility for this set is most certainly a troubling problem, leading my final score to a 7 out of 10 star rating, meaning it's still amazing and worth owning for all fans of the characters, but for now at least, it's going to be hard to find. I certainly don't recommend feeding the eBay scalpers like I did, but when you're going to Walmart for groceries or something like that anyway, it won't hurt to keep an eye out for the set. You might get lucky. So if you do happen to find it while you're already out shopping, it is worth adding to your collection.